Well, it doesn't seem to burn very well. There's a piece of acoustic material that goes between the hood strainer and the top hood panel. This is really nasty stuff. It's all falling apart, and I was just checking to see whether it would burn. It seems to be made out of fiberglass or something like that maybe. I can't find anything to replace it with, so for now I'm going to just use a piece of 1/4-inch acoustic foam. Logistics is getting things where you need them, when you need them, and I've been having some problems this week with logistics. I sent several things out to be zinc plated, and I have not received them yet. As soon as they come in, I will be able to finish quite a few assemblies and get those installed on the car. In the meantime, let me tell you what I've been doing this week. I got the windshield wiper motor and transmission ready to install. I installed the trunk weather strip. I cleaned and lubricated the speedometer cable. I got the cowl vent ready to install. I rebuilt the rusted trunk latch. I installed the trunk deck lid hinges and spring assemblies. I got the deck lid ready to attach. And I installed the radiator support brackets. I received a package today. I can tell from the return address what's in it. I purchased an NOS vacuum wiper, and it was jammed or frozen. So I sent it to be rebuilt. I actually had opened it up to see whether I could do something with it, but inside it was just disintegrated. So I sent it off to the wiper man to see if I could get it rebuilt, and hopefully this is it. There's the original box that it came in when I purchased it. And those are the pieces that were just destroyed on the inside. They were totally eaten up. And there you have it. Vacuum hose goes on here. The transmission for the windshield wipers goes right here. And then the on-off switch comes right here. My mini project this week was to restore the lynx eye, or the reflector, on the taillight lens. It's clear on the outside, and on the back side is a domed area which is painted black. Now the black paint is falling off. If you touch it just barely, it starts to chip off, plus a lot of it's missing already. I asked several people if they knew what this was covering or how it was applied, and nobody was sure. So I used a research technique that I've tried before, and that is to take the patent number off of the part, which is embossed right here, and then go to the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office website. If you enter the patent number, you can then print out the actual patent, and that patent will include a description of the product as well as drawings showing how it was constructed or how it was intended to be constructed. What I found out, there was one line on here that says the hemisphere is covered with a silvered coating. So that answered the question. The next thing was what was the silvered coating made from, or how do you do it? And I discovered there were 3 ways to do that. One was to silver it like you would a mirror, but I found out that wasn't practical because the surface tension of the solution they used would not hold on a dome. Another way would be to use gold or silver leaf. And the third would be to use a silver leaf paint called liquid leaf. And I believe this is how it was done originally, because I can actually see some of this splashed around on the inside of the taillight lens. So I took the lens, ran it through the dishwasher. That took off everything that was left on there, and made a nice clean surface to work on. Following that, I took the liquid leaf and then painted that onto the back side of the reflector, and according to the instructions, to keep it from tarnishing, it's then to have a coat of black acrylic paint covering that. So having done that, what you end up with is something that looks pretty much like the original, and I believe it actually is probably the way the original was done. The question this week was, how do you remove the spring assembly from the trunk deck lid hinge? If you look at the owner's manual or the service manual, it says open the deck lid to full open position. At this point, the deck hinge springs are released and hinge bolts may be removed without danger of a kickback from the springs. Well, that may work for a sedan, but it will not work for a coupe. The deck lid on a coupe is huge, and the springs are equally as powerful. Even when the trunk deck lid is completely open, these springs are still partially compressed, and they're powerful springs. There's no way you're going to get these springs off if you just try to pull the pin out, and if you were, they would come flying off of the guides with quite a bit of force. Once they were off, I'm not sure how you would ever get them back on unless you had some sort of a special press that you could use to push them back down over the guides and hold them while you were installing the deck lid. So what I did was I got inside the trunk, closed the deck lid, and while the springs were compressed, I used safety wire to hold the springs in their compressed position. Now I used real safety wire, heavy gauge. I used 3 wires on each spring, and I used safety wire pliers to put the appropriate twist in the wire. Once that was done, I was able to open the deck lid, and the springs were then loose because they didn't come completely uncompressed, and was able to take them off pretty much like the book said. Now I'm going to reverse that process to reinstall them later today, and I will be putting the springs in, closing the deck lid, connecting the pin that holds them in, cutting the wires, and then everything should be back the way it was in the beginning. That's all the time we have for this week, so until we meet again, I'll see you on the road.